Hello and welcome back to this Only Kids Football podcast. And it's another one of those tough ones to get through where we look back on a heartbreaking tournament. But there is some joy in there. We're looking back on our presentation and just reliving why, for the love of God, we can't stop conceding goals from kick-ins at tournaments. And here to relive the misery and pain with me is my co-host and assistant manager, Mike Clark. Mikey C, what are you saying?
We just said off air that for some reason I'm in a foul mood, and I don't know if it's attributed to yesterday or not.
It's 100%
Or maybe it's just the boring England performances and the hot weather. I'm not sure, but I think it'll be good for us. It'll be cathartic to get through this episode and chat about what happened yesterday in the tournament, and also just. It'd be good to just relive all we've had some amazing moments over the last couple of weeks, so it'd be good to chat about it. And we've got some incredibly exciting stuff coming up.
Yes. So before we get into it, the first thing that you need to be doing is going over to www.itsonlykidsfootball.com. That's www.itsonlykidsfootball.com. We have launched our website. We've got all sorts of stuff on there. And we are going to be building it out. This is just a kind of a soft launch. But we want you to go over there. And the reason we want to go over there, for many reasons, but one is that so you can get yourself a free £300 kit voucher for discountfootballkits.com by signing up to Go Cardless. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but if you go to the website, you click the offers section on the website, you will sign there. If you sign up to Go Cardless, it's really simple. You will then get yourself a £300 gift voucher for Discount Football Kits to get yourself a new kit for the new season. It's an absolute no-brainer. Really simple to do. Bang for it. Get your new kit. Look fresh. Get some new threads. The kids will be excited. It's going to be an absolute banger. You need it. So go over there and do that. And we also have something else coming up, Mr. Michael Clark, if you'd like to explain.
Yep, this is a major one, Ben. 26th of July, 8 p.m. Pop it in your calendars. We will be doing our first ever live webinar. This is specifically focused on the new 3v3 format that the FA will be rolling out, and we've only gone and got the FA to join. John Falwell, who's the head of grassroots coaching, will be there. You've already seen who won the World Cup. Who cares about that? That's light work compared to the new season of grassroots kids football. This is your place. Get in the mix. All of these questions that have been burning in your brains, been doing the rounds on your WhatsApp groups. Now's the chance to actually get in front of these key professionals, key people shaping the game to ask those burning questions. We've got the FA. We've got one of the key academy and grassroots coaches in the game. We have one of the largest UK grassroots football clubs and the guy leading the charge on that, so you'll be able to understand what's going on and how to actually implement this new format. And then we've also got a professional goalkeeper who made it to the top of the game, who'll be asking that burning question around what happens to goalkeepers in this new 3v3 format. So make sure you're there, 26th of July, 8 p.m. If you can't make it, put it in your WhatsApp group, get someone there who can answer your question. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you there. It's onlykidsfootball.com. Make sure you get on there and sign up.
Now we get into the business, but I thought we'd start light. And one of our favourite nights of the year was our presentation night. Now it was a good few weeks back, but it's an absolute blockbuster of an evening. We did it at St Pierre's School. It was a bring your own booth setup, but massive shout out to Molly Lambourne for the setup. The balloons, the decorations, the foods, the snacks, all the photos. I sent her a load of sort of photos of the boys, and she got them all hung up. It was absolutely brilliant. Loved it. First thoughts on the presentation, Michael.
It's our favourite night of the year. I love it. We put a lot of effort into it, and I think it pays off. Like the effort pays off. If you can. You see lots of presentation ads, and I get it. They just maybe go to the park and they just do it for an hour or half an hour, and then everyone goes off, and that's fine for certain groups and everyone's busy. But if you can spare the time, and it is a lot of time, and I'll go into how much time is spent on this type of stuff. The parents appreciate it so much. The boys, you're just kind of unlocking core memories. I know that my grassroots coach put in so much effort into these things in the past, and I remember him so clearly, being such a young age, your presentation night, getting a trophy or getting your medal, or some really nice words said about you. You go up and take photos, all that stuff. Like they will remember this forever, and I love it. But in terms of the time, we put a lot of energy and effort and thought into this. You more so than anyone probably on this planet. So what you had actually done is, because we've got the VO camera, which obviously we love and we talk about a lot, you'd clipped up the best moments from every boy across the season. I don't know how many clips you must have condensed it down to, and then you whittled it down again and again and again to this like a minute and a half highlight reel. But again, the parents loved it. They've got that like forever. They've got those clips. Hopefully we'll continue to do that every year so you can see the progress. But the boys, when you ask them what was the highlight, they were like, oh, this person's clip or my clip or this thing, it was brilliant. But I know that would have taken you hours and hours and hours to do.
It did, but it didn't necessarily take loads of hours in that kind of 1 week leading up, because after every game I clip out all the best bits of the boys, and then I just went back that week, downloaded all their clips from across the season, then like whittled it down, got it down to, I think it was about, like, they were actually sort of 45-second to a minute highlight reels, and then how many clips can you fit in that bit? Did that for each of the players, but I was so tired and I didn't want to do it, but I was like, I just can't wait to see their faces, or like how cool it'd be, because we had like a big screen where they'd be able to see their bits. And I was like, oh, they'll always, I've got to do it. And then, we did that. And we also had like a funny edit of when we won the Lee Ramblers Cup, and in the summer last year, and we had all like, had it cut together with England fans like celebrating goals and beers flying everywhere. So I really appreciated. I had some help with an editor on that, but I did put a lot of time in. But I loved the reaction. You talk about the photos. What I didn't realise is Scott, who took the photos, in almost every photo where I have a photo of the boy getting his trophy, I'm not smiling. And I'm not smiling in the one with Alfie. I genuinely don't want him to see that. I don't know what happened. I was so in the zone of doing the speech that I didn't smile in any of them. It was so weird. I was looking at it like, what am I doing? I was so focused and concentrated. I didn't smile in one photo with him.
The one with you and Alfie is blockbuster. He's smiling, I'm smiling. You look like you're in pain.
I know. I just think that I was so sort of focused on what I had to do. So we also do walkout music. So every boy that comes out kind of has his own tune. Obviously they get their trophies and stuff. And I just think it's really, I love the photo that I love. Well, there's two photos that I love the most from the night. Is everyone together. The boys, the parents, us, like that's what it's all about. Like we always say, what's your why? That's our why. So that has been a good reminder for me to keep coming back to that after the tournament yesterday as well. The parents were kind enough, obviously, to get some thank you gifts. You made a stupid joke about me being bald and got me a wig. Pathetic. I literally can't go anywhere without someone making a bald joke.
Yeah, but I was in it with you, mate. I was in it with you. I bought a bald cap, so we were both bald for a minute, and then all of a sudden, everyone there was bald.
Yeah. I still look pretty good bald, actually. So I just think if she ever decided to like go skinhead, then
mate, I've been asking her for years since we started talking.
For the awards, so each player gets a medal. And then the individual awards, Dexter won Manager's Player and Player's Player. I like to pick a different player each year for Manager's Player, but I think Dexter was a worthy winner. Just incredible attitude, always gives 100% in training in games, acts like a captain on and off the pitch. And he also got Player's Player as well. So, the boys recognising how much effort, how committed he is, how hard he works. But just not that, what he contributes to the team. So absolutely worthy winner of both awards. And then Ollie got fans player, parents player, second year in a row. I think that just goes to show, he's just fun to watch. He's entertaining. He's exciting. He works really hard. I said when I did the speech to him that his defensive work goes unnoticed a lot, but he always runs back, chases, presses. And obviously he's absolutely electric going forward. Truth be told, every player could have made a case to win an individual award. Everyone had a really good season, had their moments. Top goal scorer, Fred. Another ridiculous season from Fred with all the goals. I think like before yesterday's tournament, if we count yesterday's tournament goals, it was over 50 goals in tournaments and the league. God knows how many assists. And he also won every, and prior to this, he's won every individual award that we've had. Another amazing season for him. The thing with Fred is Fred has made sort of excellence the ordinary. But when you look back on what he did when I was going through his goals, and then when I was getting everyone else's goals, the amount of assists and just the variation of his goals. So, yeah, absolutely incredible season from the Iceman.
For sure. And then we rounded it off with most improved, which went to Logan. I feel like especially second half of the season, exceptional. First half, I think he missed a few games. He was ill. He had a holiday. I can't exactly remember, but he had about 5 or 6 weeks that he didn't really play.
Well, they were just celebrating Scott's 50th, so
yeah, that was it. But then he came back and he was phenomenal for the back end of the season. I think he's improved so much. So again, really worthy winner. But that is another one that was so difficult to pick because all the boys have improved immensely. When we looked back at the photos and just some of the videos from last season to where we were at the end of this season, like it's insane. It's almost overwhelming when you look back at how small they were and how even at the start of the season how physically they've progressed, but also everything about their game has just got so much better. So well done to the boys for those awards, and I'm sure we'll probably get hit up in the comments around why haven't you got everyone a trophy and everyone does it differently. Again, this is what we've done. We've communicated it with the parents very early on. They were on board with it. They're happy with our decisions. Everyone got a trophy. Everyone got really nice mentions throughout. They would have felt special just as much as those who ended up with the trophy. But when you got 10 or 11 kids in your team to do individual trophies for each of them, didn't seem quite right for us at this age now. Prior to that, we have done that. And I think moving forward, we'll stick with our format.
And we agonised over most improved and manager's player. There were so many, you could make a case for so many, but we made our decisions and nothing, you couldn't take away anything for the boys that won individual awards, but all the boys there contributed and had fantastic seasons and deserve a lot of recognition. I just thought it might be quite cool to share, obviously we do an intro speech, then we do a little speech for each player, and then we kind of do a wrap up. And I just thought it'd be quite cool to share what we said for our own son. So in terms of the song I had for Alfie, which was Indecision by Sampa, which is that Let It All Work Out, the Eze sort of signing song. So I had that for him, and then this is what I wrote for him. I say every year, but I can't stress this enough. Only one other boy can relate to the experience Alfie is subjected to every week. The parents understand, but I'm not sure the boys do. They're so lucky their dad doesn't coach a team because I can't shout at others. So Alfie gets it for everyone. I have insanely unfair and unrealistic expectations of him, push him harder than anyone else, moan at him more than anyone else, and yet here he is, still going strong, improving, and developing into one hell of a player. Any kid who can take that kind of criticism and pressure from their dad deserves a medal. Despite me, he has become a brilliant player, two-footed, calm and intelligent on the ball, able to play in multiple positions, and so skillful they might have to rename the Maradona the Welch. He's becoming such a competitor that I'm convinced that he tried to kill Fred when he smashed into the back of his parked go-kart, Ollie's go-karting party, even if it meant he went up in a ball of flames just to ensure he finished ahead of him on the leaderboard. We might not agree on some of his hairstyles, but I'm not really in a position to criticise. Please give it up for Alfie boy. And then he came on and I didn't smile in the photo, so that was cool.
You did smile either side of the photo.
Yeah, I did. I really regret that. I don't remember it happening until I saw the photos after. And I was like, Why did I do that?
Don't worry, mate. I'll get my mate Claude to sort it out. You'll be smiling in no time. You might have just had a completely different face. Bit of a facelift, but you will be smiling. And then for Raf, we had the song was Jamaican Bam Bam by Hoogle, which is he's just got this irrational love of Jamaica for some reason. I don't know why. All of his training kits seem to be Jamaica themed. But it was more just that would get the crowd pumping, clapping when he came up. But what I said for him was, now on to my little Boise, my little man. In Estelle's words, oh, my little prince. And I said to him, if she embarrasses you in front of the goats, in front of the school gates, just say, no, thank you, which has become Estelle's catchphrase on the sideline. She's got no idea about football. She's got no idea that there are tackles and it's quite physical. So whenever there's not even a tackle, whenever there's any kind of physical connection between the kids, she always shouts out, no, thank you. And then I said, as Ben said, it's incredibly hard for Alf and Raf to be in a team coached by their dads. They have to shine every week just so they can get a lift home and possibly even a sandwich. Perhaps I don't say this enough to him, but I'm insanely proud of who Raf is becoming on and off the pitch. On the pitch, his football has improved so much in the last year. His passing, range, vision and confidence on the ball seems to improve week on week. He has this silent, tenacious drive, which is the only thing silent about him, and he's always the first to congratulate or console his teammates. Even though I've had to remortgage the house to fund the countless replacements of water bottles and gloves and jackets, I wouldn't change him for the world. And give it up for my boy Raffio. And then we showed his highlights, and he came up and got his medal.
Was he buzzing?
He was so happy. Yeah, you could tell when they're all quite confident boys, most of them, and they're just always like giving it and full of energy and running around. But when you're talking about them, they all become very shy. Yeah. And I know it obviously became quite a late night in the end. But the next day when I spoke to Raff, he was buzzing about it. He remembered everything, and that's so not like him. He's usually a sieve with this type of stuff, but he remembered everything about that night.
Do you know what I remember? You blanking me. I was trying to get you to come out after, and you were ignoring my calls and my messages.
No, I wasn't ignoring you. Jem went home with my phone. I didn't have a phone.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, really? Yeah, I wasn't ignoring you. I also wasn't going out either, so...
I mean, I was absolutely annihilated, belting out some tunes, the karaoke.
Yeah, just to be clear, I would have gone out. I just didn't want to go out with you.
One of my favourite photos, which I put in the group, was there was a sequence of photos where I was taking a picture of Romy, Charlie, and I think Leo. I can't quite remember. There's some little ones, siblings, in the photo. And in the background, there's 3 photos in a sequence of Estelle on a scooter with the bald cap on. It's incredible.
Giving it full beans on a scooter. Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. Quick break. Before we dive back into the episode, we want to take a moment to help you level up your coaching game with the help of Football DNA, the ultimate coaching platform that's been a game changer for us. What do we love about it? It's super easy to use, saves us loads of time, and best of all, it doesn't just show you how to set up a practice, it teaches you how to coach it properly. And that's the key. The sessions are put together by top level coaches. We're talking first team staff at clubs like Celtic, Crystal Palace and West Ham. Proper pedigree. You get videos, diagrams, full explanations, downloadable PDFs, and if you need it, a full 36-week training plan tailored to the age group you are coaching. Our lads have loved the sessions. It's made our lives easier, improved our coaching, and taught us loads. Now we genuinely look forward to training and developing our players. Check it out at footballdna.co.uk. That's footballdna.co.uk, or you can download the app. Just search Football DNA. Trust us now, and you'll thank us later. Back to business. No more fun. That's enough fun for everyone. We've been training hard, going really well. Continue to work on the counter pressing in midfield, and also off the back of that Rondos Academy chat, I introduced a drill where they had to control the one pass into feet. It was 1v1. Control one pass into feet, beat their man, try and finish. Then, as soon as that's done, they get a pass played in behind them, so they have to run and receive the ball, collect the ball, but checking their shoulder because now the defender's behind them. And then once that's dead and gone, throwing an aerial ball in for them to collect or control and then play from there, because we talked about aerial control in that Rondos Academy, the previous episode. It was really, really good. Again, obviously another challenging. But Al's been great in training, actually. Angry Rooney, we've been calling him. But in that training session, I threw the ball into him in the air, and he sort of threw his hands up in the air like he felt it wasn't, well, it wasn't to him. He had to go and chase it, and he felt that it was too far. Threw his hands up in the air, wasn't happy with the delivery. He came over, and I said to him, "Don't you dare quit. You quit. You quit on the ball. Why did you quit? You could have gone and got that." He got really angry. Next one, first one, yeah. Then he like skinned who he was playing against and smashed it in. Brilliant goal. And then threw the ball up in the air. He sort of protected the ball and then hit this absolute zinger. People won't remember this goal, but Ian Wright scored a goal against Man United in the Charity Shield a long, long time ago in the 90s. And that volley reminded me of that, and he just smashed it in. Normally, Alf would be absolutely like going, "Oh!" I actually ran and went, "Sue!" And he was so angry with me. He did not celebrate the goal, stomping back to his position, going, "Yeah, fucking yeah." And I was like, "Do you know what? I love that. Be angry at me. If that's what it brings out in you, be angry at me." But we've just been working on that in training, and I actually think that I thought we were pressing the ball. We were winning the ball back so well in the tournament. So we had a tournament, Kings of the Summer, in Cheshunt on Saturday, yesterday. And one of the things I did think that we did well, we only conceded 2 goals in the whole tournament across 6 games, and winning the ball back and pressing the ball was definitely one of our strengths yesterday. But yeah, we'll get into the tournament. Didn't get off to a great start. So in Haya, or Haja, however you want to pronounce it, we were meant to be playing in another tournament on this day, but it was cancelled. I did cancel it on Haja. And for any of the moron people that look at Haja, did not see that it was cancelled.
Well, it said it was cancelled, but it was like in the top right-hand corner.
To be fair, like it is not clear at all. It really wasn't clear. And Danny Lambourne, in a rush, had kind of not scrolled down to see the other one. So he put in this postcode for this other tournament we were meant to be in that got cancelled, which was in Ilford. It did confuse some other people as well, but they were both on there. And the one that was on, that was correct. That was right. But I'd got in the car with Dan, and we're just talking, so I'm not really paying attention to what we're doing. But then when we start to come off the road, I'm thinking, hold on, we ain't in the right place. And I was like, Dan, we're in the wrong place, mate. And then, yeah, we work out that he's put in the wrong postcode because it wasn't on his phone either. And the postcode was already on like his inbuilt sat nav system within the car, and it was already going. And oh my God, if it had been me on my own, genuinely, and I've been in those situations, and my reactions are like punch the steering wheel, shouting, swearing, like going absolutely insane. But because I could see that Danny wanted to do that, it made me calm because I wanted to calm him down. But we weren't late anyway, right? Because they put it back.
No.
But yeah, there was that moment of stress where we realised we were half an hour away from Cheshunt, but we turned round, got there in time for the first game. And I actually say, I think that was really good for me because I didn't have any time to think about the game. Because once I arrived, we were basically about to play.
It was good. It was actually really good. It was actually quite a good learning, actually, because usually we're obviously there early. Me and you were talking about it, and then over and over and over again. And then we kind of get a bit, I guess nervous, but just agitated, uptight, whatever. But because you weren't there as well, and I had obviously all the parents, they were asking me loads of questions, and then all the kids just being nuts. I just had loads to deal with that I didn't think about it either. And then you turned up probably like 5 minutes before the actual kickoff, so we didn't really go into too much detail about the teams you'd already prepared and prepped for the starting 7. So like it was quite nice, just rocking up and playing.
Yeah, and like I say, every boy, we can't do equal game time because the games are only 12 minutes, but we are making subs halfway through every game. So there are always going to be subs. Everyone, like, we're trying to give as many minutes to each player, but like there's no kid that isn't getting like the minimum amount. We're not picking like that. I'll get into the subs in a bit, and where I kind of think I might have to change that, because the problem is what you end up doing is doing a like for like. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think I need to think that through. But then what happens is once you get through the group, where I think I'd actually done it right, once you get through the group, my kind of ability to think with clarity goes completely out the window, and I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to pick what I think would be the team that will have the best chance. But then also looking back on the players that have come on and made a difference, I'm like, well, if the game's tied, who's a good player to bring on when the opposition's tied? What will they do? Anyway, another black mark on Lambon's record for tournaments, though. So he slept through his alarm against Orient, and now he can't even input the right postcode into a sat nav. I know when this goes live, I'll be getting a little WhatsApp message from him.
Yeah.
I
Raging.
also have to say a little bit was my fault. I didn't check, and I only kind of realised uh, before it was maybe a little bit too late that we were going the wrong way, and yeah, just hey, do a better job when someone cancels a tournament. It needs to be clearer. Anyway, so we start off the game against Ultra FC. Uh, Absolutely sensational. Oh, by the way, it is absolutely cooking. It is sweating hot. Pretty awful conditions for anyone to play in, let alone kids. But we got off to a flyer, 1-2 nil. I think Dexter opened the scoring with sort of a long range effort. I think that kind of slipped through the goalie's hands a little bit. I can't really remember. But I remember Parker scoring a brilliant team goal. So that was 2-0 and a great start. Brilliant start from the team.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't think it did slip through the keeper. I think it went into the corner. It was just a really good goal. And I know that team, they had a mixture of kids that were playing up into our age group. And they had a mixture of kids in our age group. And it was kind of mixed, not necessarily mixed abilities because they're all pretty strong, but they were just kind of working their way through it. It was a local team. We'd never played them before. And I think they did really well there. I think they did well in the tournament as well. So it was a brilliant start there. I felt like we were zipping the ball about. It was on our favoured AstroTurf, of course. So all the conditions apart from the heat were in our favour. And yeah, they didn't disappoint. I thought they started off brilliantly.
Then we went into Tilbury Scorpions. Again, we're playing really well. But we go 1-0 down. Switch off at a corner, not marking. Incredibly, the biggest kid on their team. The one kid to mark from a set piece, and we're not marking him. And he scores. But incredibly, very much unlike me, I wasn't actually that annoyed or panicky because I genuinely thought we'd score because I just thought we were playing well and we'd had loads of chances and I wasn't really too worried.
The worry is because it's 12 minutes. When you
Yeah.
go a goal down, and it wasn't like the first minute that we conceded. It was like, say, just before half the it wasn't halves, but you know, it was like 5th minute in. You're like, hopefully we will score, but will we get enough for a win? Maybe not, but at least I was confident that we would get a result. I think that I remember that one quite clearly because it was a free kick, not a corner, and it hit our wall of 2 kids, and then it just rebounded directly to the biggest kid on the pitch, but he was completely unmarked. So again, that's just something we just got to be more tight with the kids, is that when we say like mark your man, that's not when the ball's kicked, that is the entire time. And we just cannot seem to get that through to them. They're like, yeah, you said get close to them, I'm close with them, and yeah, like 3 seconds later, you're not close with them. You got to stay.
Yeah,
stay
and you have to
glued
do it
them.
immediately. You have to do it immediately. It's not like jog over there. It's not like you need to do it now as quick as you can and be aggressive about it. And then we score an unbelievable equaliser. Cohen, we've knocked the ball about. Cohen making his debut. We'll get onto that. Plays a lovely ball into Fred, but the touch and finish by Fred, ice cold. The Iceman. This was the Iceman at his best. That is a proper finish. Brilliant 1-1. And then I don't know what happens to get to the winner, but the ball comes back. I don't know if it was a rebound or someone lays it back to him. But Dexter zings in this winner from like smashes it into the corner. It was such a good goal. I genuinely feel, I said this, I've only really celebrated a few goals that we've scored in the entire 3 years, like properly celebrated. And it wasn't like a major set. I just kind of a bit of a fist pump. I went, get in, or come on, or something like that. And then Alfie tried to jump on him and fell over, which was brilliant. But we won that game 2-1, and I love the character we showed in the short game to come back and win that. Absolutely flying. Then we went on to Brentwood Town. I want to say Brentwood Town were playing a year up, so this is a younger team. So I don't kind of want to, they should, the fact that they're playing older boys, they should take a lot from that. But we were just playing really well, and we scored 3 goals. We won 3-0. Goal for Cohen, got his first goal for the team. And then Fred and Parker both scored, all pretty good team goals from like what I can remember. I can't remember them all massively clearly, but I just felt that we were playing football from front to back really well, and we just look good. The counter attack is where we are absolutely at our best.
Yeah.
Pressing the ball and then attacking fast and everyone getting forward. The negative of that is that we sometimes get too far forward, but it is quite exciting to watch. And it's fun to watch. So we win that 1-3-0. At this point, what are you thinking? We're playing well, 3 wins from 3.
We're flying. We're absolutely flying. And because we were playing so well, the stress levels for us were fine. I was absolutely fine. To the point where we're like, if we play like this and lose a game, we should be absolutely fine as well, because we were just playing so well. And when I say we were playing so well, it's very easy to start talking about the goals, the attack, like we were just doing there. But Albie in goal had up until this point like a stormer of a tournament. He was saving us constantly at the back, and even our defence. We conceded 1 goal that was a ricochet from a corner and a tap in. Not the best, but at the same time, 1 goal in 3 games in a tournament, not bad at all. I think the defence were excellent up until this point. We couldn't, like, if someone were to say at that point who's player of the tournament, I think we'd really struggle to be able to pick, because they were all playing brilliantly.
Yeah. And then we're our last game in the group, but we do this. I mean, I literally don't know how. We are basically England in World Cup qualifying. Like
Yeah.
we're World Cup qualifying group. England smash everyone. It's coming home, and then we get we get to where it matters, and that's when things got to go wrong. But anyway, we had one final group game against Stevenage Futsal. We won 1-0. Very tight, physical, competitive game. Not much to choose between us. We definitely created enough chances in the game to win it. Again, I don't remember masses of the details of the game, but I remember that it was like a close game. And then we scored a brilliant goal to win the game. Back to front, Raf to Dexter, out to Alf. Alf carried the ball forward, which I loved, and then released it at the right time to Ollie. Ollie, bit of magic, nutmegged his man, crossed it, and Parker did brilliant to control it and then get a sort of looping volley, half volley. Like that was the one goal we kind of got on video, because we don't take the VO over to the tournaments, because you're kind of changing pitches and stuff, and we lost 2 footballs yesterday, so brilliant. Another 2 footballs lost. Still angry about that.
Well, good job. We've got a fantastic partner in Discount Football Kids.
Discount Football Kids. We will be ordering another couple of footballs, but we topped the group. Won all 4 games, scored 8 goals, conceded 1. Absolutely, playing brilliant. Just so happy with the way the team playing. Football's amazing. We're pressing the ball. We're defending well. No faults. Nothing really to say other than we were excellent.
What I loved about this tournament as well, the guy that was running it, he seemed really stressed and he was running around. I was chatting to him, he's a teacher, and he just said, I'm a stickler for time. And when a game was overrunning by 2 minutes, he was getting annoyed and stressed and was like, all right, next game, can you guys, he was getting all the teams together. I was like, can you just run straight onto it? This was like a fairly big tournament, right? There was quite a few teams. But what the best thing about it was, there wasn't big periods of time where we were sat like 45 minutes in previous tournaments. It was like 15 minutes, then you're back on, 15 minutes, then you're back on. Then you had the odd game where you had to play back to back, which was pretty brutal in the weather, but it was a really well run tournament, and that made a big difference because that weather was so hot, keeping the kids engaged, not running off, using up all their energy, like overheating, all of that stuff that can happen in these hot tournaments in the summer. We just didn't really have time to do that. So it was quite good. Plus, we spent the vast majority of those group games in one pitch. So we kind of created a base. We stuck to the base. They kind of got some shade under some big umbrellas, which is a good tip for people. Bring those like big golf umbrellas, which might look a little bit odd, but actually kind of all the kids huddled under a couple of these big umbrellas, gave them a bit of a rest. Plenty of water, lots of fruit, lots of like energy products that you can, not products, lots of energy releasing food that can help them fuel for the next game. All of that stuff that you'd expect to happen in a tournament. I feel like up until this point, couldn't fault any of it.
No, but we still managed to lose 2 footballs in that time. And also, I tell you what absolutely blew my mind. In the heat, go on about it to him, go on about it to him. Get onto the pitch, baking hot. Daddy, where's my drink? What do you mean, where's your drink? What do you mean? You literally had it in the car. So you've left it in the car again, or you've left it where you were. Like, I don't know how to help you remember the drink, because I can only keep telling you constantly to look after it. And then every single fucking time you get out of the car, why can't you remember the drink? I can't handle it, mate. It winds me up so much.
Yeah.
It's every single week, multiple sessions a week, and it's just unbearable. It's so irritating. Do you know what? We need if there's an expert on here with about listening to this for children's memory, please, for the love of God, will you tell me how to get a kid to remember their bloody water bottle? Anyway, we get to the semi-finals, and this was the first game where the boys started to look a bit tired. It was hot. They were looking pretty exhausted. We started to get sloppy. And in all honesty, we did not deserve to win this game. We should have lost this game, 100%. They had the better chances. They missed them. Alfie made some good saves. They were 100% the better team. If it wasn't for Albie, we would have lost this game. But then we win with an absolute classic counter-attack goal, which we're so good at. Like, I honestly think this is probably our best quality, is our ability to get forward when we win the ball back. Parker plays an unreal through ball to Fred, the Iceman again, the one man you want in this position. What I loved about what Fred did is, first of all, he takes the ball wide to create. I mean, you don't know if a kid is thinking this stuff, but I feel like Fred, I don't know if he does it instinctively, but he takes the ball across the defender and then away to one angle so he can shoot back across goal, which he did. Unbelievable scenes, unbelievable goal. But you and me both ran down the line and were saying, "Stop celebrating, get back."
I split them up. It was it was Raf, Fred, and I don't know who it was, Dexter. It was all a blur. I literally physically ripping them apart because they were celebrating. I was like, "Get back in your positions." It's so embarrassing.
It was. I was. This is. But see, you know what you're saying. Like, I felt like I'd been pretty good all day, but this is the semi-finals where I started to like waver and I started to get a bit emotional.
We weren't playing that well as well. It was the first game where we weren't playing that well.
And I, because of the way the setup was, we were on the same side as the parents, and I do think some of the parents were like, I don't necessarily see ours, but some of the parents of the opposition were like, the amount I was shouting. But like, it's not shouting criticism. It's like, come on, boys, switch on. I mean, this is me speaking as if I'm speaking nicely. I'm shouting aggressively, like, Mark, get back. All positional stuff, like, come on, get stuck in, liven up, all that kind of stuff. Not shouting criticism or anything like that, but just the shouting about marking, not ball watching, getting into position. I think some of the parents behind me are like, "What is this bell end doing?" But this was also,
especially when the lack of water and the amount of shouting consumed you when your voice kept breaking, and one of them was spectacular.
It was the one for Raf. It was Raf. I shouted at Raf because the kid had got in behind him, and it was like I was 14 again, and my balls had just dropped.
It was unbelievable because you're in the moment. I couldn't take the piss out of you, but every fibre of my body wanted to.
I know, it was the ridiculous sound that I made. Honestly, I was just embarrassing. And then we get to the final, Stevenage futsal, where we played in the group and we beat 1-0. Again, it was a really, really tense game. Nothing in it for me. They did hit the post. Cohen makes this unbelievable run. If he doesn't get fouled, he scores 100% for me. We get a free kick. Fred, it skims the post. I thought it was in. And then for the third tournament in a row, We switch off at a kick in. The kid takes it quickly. I don't know if he shoots or crosses it. I don't really know what happened, but it hits one of their players, and then Logan's on the line, and I think it sort of hits the inside of his leg. I couldn't really. It all happened quite quickly, but hits one kid, hits Logan, and then goes in. And yeah, I was absolutely gutted, but I still felt that we might get back into it because there wasn't loads of time left, but we've just been so good going forward, and we did create opportunities. And I just think maybe the pressure got to the boys, or they just weren't shooting, or they weren't making the right decision when they got into when they had space and opportunity to maybe punish them. Like, like Arteta, I always think when Arteta talks about Arsenal, he talks about we got into good positions, but we didn't make the most of them. It wasn't
Yeah.
like they were clear cut openings, but we were in positions where if we just made the right choice, we might have had an opportunity to score.
Yeah, I think because we lost 1-0, third tournament in a row, heartbreak for the kids. I'd say because we played them twice, it was actually a fair result, let's be honest, because if that was a half of football, which it would have been in a usual circumstance, a 1-1 at half time would probably be about right. The problem is that we won it in the groups and we didn't win it in the final. That was the heartbreak, and I think the boys were gutted. And my reflection on the game was it was very even. I do think we probably had the 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 um the better chances probably, but it was very close, and it was just one of those ones again. My other reflection is that I was gearing up for the end of the game. Obviously they just scored, and there was probably a minute, 2 minutes max left in the game. We went up straight away at the kick in, and we've almost scored straight away. And I was like, oh God, this might not happen now. So I was gearing myself up to just console the boys because I knew that they'd be gutted. But Raf had given up, like fully given up, like just basically stood on the side of the pitch, huffing and puffing, really, really upset, but just like completely gave up. And I couldn't deal with that. That really annoyed me because you can lose a game and be upset. That's totally natural. But when you give up mid-game, when you've got still time to score, you only need 10 seconds to get a goal. You don't give up until it's over, and even then, you've got to rally around your teammates. So I did at the end of the game have a massive go at him, which I don't know if I regret. Probably regret the timing of it because I think that conversation needed to have happened. I probably didn't need to do it when he was at his lowest at the end of the game, so that was my regret. But I don't regret what I said to him because I really went for him, and I really hope that that will start to sink in now around never giving up, even if you battle into the very last second, and then having those emotions are natural and normal, but you don't give up.
No, I don't think what you said was wrong. I just think I think you're right in the sense that the timing was wrong for both of you because he was upset, and the timing was wrong for you because you were angry. So
Yeah,
what you were saying wasn't wrong, but the way you were doing it was probably what was wrong.
yeah,
Not that I was really paying attention because I was in my own world, but I know that you were emotional, which I totally got, and I'd get onto my own feelings and what happened. So I don't think you were saying horrible things to him. I just think you were both the emotions were just like probably just too high.
yeah,
Um, but I understand your frustration, and we'll get onto that. But also just like my reflections on the tournament itself, I think that the substitutions I'm going to look at because the problem is I feel like and you get sort of stuck in this like for like, and sometimes actually maybe moving the boys around a little bit and like presenting the opposition with a different problem, or getting players, sometimes playing players not in their best position, but just to get them on the pitch so they get their time on the pitch, and maybe like be willing to move players around so that everyone gets a go of being off for a certain amount of time and stuff. Like I got it right in the group. It was just when we got out of that, I hadn't planned for that, and maybe I need to plan for that. So I think that maybe I need to look at the combinations of the substitutions and how I do that. Ultimately, I'm trying to do the best job so that everyone gets to play, and that I make subs halfway through every single game, and I'm going to stick to doing it, and I won't change it. I just maybe think the combination, and maybe not just doing like for like all the time and moving it around a little bit. But I think that I was definitely too emotional. I think that I think I said very little in the groups, but when we got to the semi-final and the final, and it wasn't quite going away, and it was a bit tense, I made that mistake. I was trying to get them going and try and get them. I think the thing I find really hard is when they're not switched on or marking, or not doing things immediately defensively. It's fine when we're going forward, but when you're defending, like defending is all about concentration. And I know they're tired, I know they're nine, but like because you're an adult and you can see what's about to happen if they don't do it straight away, or if they're not concentrating, you can literally see in 5 seconds this is going to happen if you don't do it right now, and you don't do it, and then it happens, and that is why you're getting all worked up, and you're shouting because of the severity of what's about to happen. But needless to say, I still think that I was probably a little bit over the top at the times, and I do regret that. I There was also, like, with Fred's free kick that went wide, like, should I have let Dexter take that one because it was closer, and can hit the ball like crazy hard. And then there was another one that Fred got a little bit later on in the game to equalise, and maybe that little bit of finesse. I'd got Dexter to hit that one, and maybe Fred should have. I thought I maybe got that wrong as well. I should have had him the free kicks taken round the other way. But I mean, Fred nearly scored. He hit skimmed the post. In the after when I took Alf off, not for any reason, but just allotted time to take him off. In the final. And he ran over and he went, "Did you take me off because I wasn't playing well?" And it wasn't because of that. That was the time. But I said to him, I thought he was doing fine. He was okay. But I just said to him, "You didn't want it out there." Like, I kept having to remind him, like, you got to want it. You got to want it. And again, this was a mistake of mine. It wasn't about wanting it at all. It was about being nervous. And I knew he was nervous. When I was talking to him before the game, he was like, I was saying, "Look, just go out there, have fun. 6 minutes of just giving everything you got." And he was doing this like, like that. He was breathing in, and I'm like, "Why are you worried?" I was like, "Go out, it's fun, enjoy it." And what I was hoping was, if he started the game, and what he's like, he has one good moment and then he's into it. He has a good action, and then he kind of relaxes. And then I was worried about bringing him on, him being nervous and then making a mistake if we're kind of winning. I thought if he was nervous and made a mistake when we start, then we've got time to get back into it. Yeah, and I could just tell the whole time he was out there, he didn't. I was like, "Come on, you need to want it. You need to get into the game." And all it was is like feeling nervous. Like when, I don't know if you have this, when you're nervous and it feels like you've completely drained of all energy, like you've got nothing, your legs are jelly. It's like you're exhausted, and someone has just, your stomach feels all funny. And I was looking at him, and I just knew that's what it was. But I was maybe giving him I honestly don't know how to handle that situation, because when you're watching the game and they're not doing the thing they immediately need to be doing, which is marking, concentrating, making a tackle, whatever, like doing anything with the intensity that is required to win a game, all you can do is be shouting at them to like do it quickly, because you either do that and they try and do it, or you don't do it and they don't do anything because they're just not doing it.
Mm.
And it's like, what are you meant to say in that situation? What are you meant to do? Anyway, he was pretty gutted. And then we spoke about it, and I do think, I'm quite pleased with how it went after, because I said to him, "Look, you can't do that. If you're in a game, you want to play in the big games, then you've got to, you have to talk yourself out of that, and you just got to go for it. You just got to go for it." And I said to him, I've been in games, and when I played, I remember playing games like that, big games, when I remember specifically playing in a game where I got picked to play for the district, and I completely froze in the game. I felt sick, didn't want to play, didn't feel like I wanted to be out there, barely touched the ball, and I came off, and I really regretted it because I let the nerves and being scared get the better of me. And I was telling him this stuff, and I was saying, "Look, it's okay. Like, I've been there. I know what that feels like. It's all right. But next time, like next week, you've got to be on that, be out there. You've got to want it." And the thing is, at the heart of it, and it may have been the same for Raf, right? Raf had that all drained out of him because he's worried that like you're going to be upset, or that he's gutted that he's let his dad down. And that was, I struggled with it. And also when I got back, I was like, am I going to be an arsehole like all day, like because I was angry. But you know what? I give myself a pat on the back. As pathetic as it is to give yourself a pat on the back for something as minor as this, but I did turn it around, and I went out and I played football with them all evening in the garden, the boys, and we had a good laugh and we had fun and we watched England together. And I didn't let it bother me. And when I came down this morning, one of the first things I did is I went over and I gave him a cuddle and a kiss, and I've just acted like it's all good. And I think he learned. I think he's learned a good lesson from it. And I do think the heat. It all just got to. He was just nervous, man. Like I don't know what you thought. Like I was looking at him and he just looked worried out there.
Yeah, he just wasn't saying much, but I think it was he. I looked at him and he looked like he was just trying to get in the zone. Like just before the final, he literally was just sat on his own, wasn't he? He was just
Yeah.
like. But looking back, maybe it was nerves. Because he's got this angry Rooney part of him now. I just thought he was like psyching himself up, but possibly not. That's something that we need to. The whole thing is like the lesson for everyone here is almost try and prepare for the knockout games as opposed to being relaxed in the group games. And that's something that we're just not good at the moment. Like we were exactly the same. Group games, we played well, which helped, but also we just barely said anything. It was all fine. It was all really relaxed, great. As soon as there's a bit of jeopardy that you might get knocked out, we just turn into our old selves, and that's something that like I think going into a tournament, especially ones that you think okay, well, you probably will get out of the group. Like that's all you just need to be thinking. All we need to be thinking is how do we prepare for those KO games? How do we not turn into our old selves? But like you said, to give ourselves a pat on the back, we would have been exactly like that, right? We would have been worse in the group games. We would have been really, probably worse in the knockout games, and then we would have been awful afterwards. And like I said, I did have a go at Raf at the wrong time, so I messed up there. But when we got in the car, we had a more balanced conversation about it because he said he wanted to chat about it. And then 10 minutes into the journey, that was it. End of. No problem. We moved on straight away and we went to my mum's, had a barbecue, and everything was like absolutely fine. And he had a blip. He had a bit of a temperature. Gave him some Calpol, and he just said like he's just exhausted. Probably because of the tournament, but also, late nights watching the football. All of this stuff probably has a knock-on effect that we just don't think about in the time of a tournament. You only think about it afterwards when you reflect. And again, we should be thinking about their physical state, mental state, all of that stuff before the tournament, so we can work on our reactions accordingly. It's very hard.
No, and the two boys with the weight of expectation of their dads and losing. Like
Yeah.
I spoke to Alf and he was like, I said, "What happened, mate?" I was like, "You were fine in the other games. What happened? Like you didn't. Like I just what happened? You just it's like you didn't." And by the way, it's not like he played bad in the
No.
final. He just wasn't involved. Like he wasn't getting involved. That was it. He didn't like. He wasn't gonna. There was no sort of catastrophic moments or errors. He just wasn't involved. He neither said, "I was just worried about losing." And I was like, "Were you worried about losing because of me?" And he was like, "No, I just didn't want to lose. I was worried that it would like be my fault, and I was just scared about making a mistake and us losing the game." Because if you think about it, we've ever played other finals, and he's never been like that. And he played in the other games, and he was never like that. Um, I just think I don't know. The other thing with him as well, like I don't know if Raf's like this, is he hasn't really played football for 2 weeks. I think
Yep.
that he needs to take his confidence from how he's playing. And he'd missed the week before was because he had the uh, injections, the jabs, because we're going on holiday to Bali and he has to have a rabies jab. And he's had it, you have three anyway. For 2 weeks in a row, he had those jabs in his arm, and that like, little kids, their arm, it hurts them, etc. Blah, blah, blah. So he kind of missed training sessions because of that. They both had that, and then the Heat the following week. The Heat wiped out all the game, all training, ballers, complete football academy, everything. Um, and I just think that he needs his rhythm. He needs to. He draws confidence from how he's playing. Both you and me were saying at this, we were going, I'm just not sure about how to. Like it's the
Yeah.
Heat, and you were saying Raf was quiet, like he barely said a word. I felt the same about Alf. Like I just kind of got this nervousness, tiredness sort of feeling from him all the time. And to be fair, like again, like we're talking as if they both played fine. Like they
Yeah.
both. I said to Alf, I showed him the goal where it's his driving run out of defence that plays it to Ollie. I was like, you played your part in that goal. In the game against the Ultra FC, you had some lovely turns in there. You were absolutely fine, but like he wasn't on it, if you see what I mean. Like he was
Yeah,
absolutely fine.
they were just a bit rusty.
Yeah,
That's all I'd say it was. And I think it did come down to, like, we missed training because we went to Disney, and they were just a little bit rusty. But they were fine. They I don't think they made a mistake even, really, but they just weren't
in it.
themselves.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they weren't on it. Like they were absolutely fine, but they just weren't on it. For me, it's a lesson learned because I'm like, he was really nervous. I understand that. I've been in those situations. I've felt like that before. Um, and he definitely needs to be playing. Alfie's a boy that needs to be playing to kind of feel like he's in his rhythm. But I do regret what I need to work out is when he's feeling nerves. To me, I want to get him going and like, let's go, let's go, let's go. But does that work for him? Not sure it does. I don't know what he needs in that situation. I need to work it out. Quick one for the coaches and volunteers listening. If you're sorting kits for a grassroots team, you'll know the pain. It's never as simple as it should be. That's exactly why Discount Football Kits exists. They supply quality football kits at prices that actually work for grassroots clubs. No nonsense, no hard sell, just reliable teamwear that turns up on time and looks the part on match day. From full team kits to training wear for growing squads, everything's built to make your life easier. If you're tired of overpaying or overthinking kits, head to discountfootballkits.com and get your team sorted today. Go Cardless makes collecting payments simple with automatic direct debit. Membership fees come in on time every month without watching parents dig through their pockets only to find a crisp packet or race into the cash point while you wait in the rain. There's no more, I'll give it to you next week. You can just drop a link into your WhatsApp group and bingo, payments are sorted. It handles the admin too, automatically keeping track of who's paid, what's outstanding, and retrying any payments that didn't go through, helping your club keep a steady cash flow for pitch hire, kits, and equipment. You can even pause or adjust payments when families need flexibility, keeping your club supportive and inclusive. Go Cardless takes care of the money so you can focus on running great sessions and growing your club. Just a little video I saw on Facebook. It was Larry Lamb, who is Pamela's husband on Gavin and Stacey. He was on like Matt Will's podcast. Don't know what I think. Matt Willis. I don't know what his name is.
Matt Willis, yeah, he was busted.
Yes. So he was on his podcast, and there's this video where he talks about, so there's this concept that once your kid gets to 18, you've spent 85% of your time with them. Now, I looked this up. So this number gets thrown around a lot on social media, and while the exact percentage can vary slightly depending on how you crunch the data, yes, the core idea is actually factually true. So this stat comes from data looking at lifetime human relationships, popularized by writer Tim Urban, creator of Wait But Why. It reveals a striking reality about human connection. Around 90% of the total face-to-face time you will ever spend with your child happens between the day they are born and the day they turn 18. And I'll sit there and I'll think, holy fucking shit. Half of the time that I'm going to spend with him almost has already gone like face-to-face. And when you worry about this shit, about some of my reactions yesterday or like being worked up, and I just think, do I want to waste my time and I have this finite amount of time with him face to face? Is it want to be what do I want to be angry? Do I want to be worked up about football? Do I want him to be in a situation where he thinks the mood of the house is defined by how he plays? I don't know, that stat got me, and I was thinking I need to clean up my act.
I know that stat is insane. That really makes you think. But what I'd say is, obviously, for the pod and just for the way that we are as people and we chat about it, we have to pick apart, and we do pick apart, and we naturally pick apart all of the wrong things we do. I don't think we will probably ever come away from a tournament where we were like, we were perfection. We did absolutely everything right for our boys, for all of the boys, tactically, all of this stuff. It's probably not going to happen ever. But at the same time, we're making the same mistakes too often, and that's what we just need to iron out. Because we will make mistakes. Like, that's just the nature of coaching and being a parent. You're always going to make mistakes. But if we can start ironing out some of these same mistakes, and like we said, 3 years in now, some of the mistakes we were doing before we have ironed out. It's just the same ones, the reoccurring ones, that the more tournaments we do, the more of these more high pressure games that we have, the better we'll be. So I don't kick myself too much about it, because we are getting better for sure. It's just going to take a bit more time. But these types of stats are brilliant to see, because then it just puts everything into perspective, and maybe before you go to a tournament, just have that firmly in your mind that you've already, at this age, like 9, 10, you've already spent half your time face to face with them in their lifetime. Like, that is heartbreaking.
No.
Although the way that the housing market is, they'll probably stay with us forever. So yeah, they'll never be able to leave.
I know that's good for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, quickly, a few things. We're going to race through listener shout outs and questions, but we have got a newsletter. So if you're enjoying the podcast, we've got something else you might like, our free newsletter. We share the stuff that doesn't always make it into the episodes and the stuff that does. Lessons we've learned the hard way, advice from experts, coaching tips, parenting wins and failures, and the conversations that make us all stop and think. The goal isn't to turn you into the perfect coach or parent, because they don't exist. It's to help you become the kind of coach your kids want to play for, and the kind of parent who leaves the touchline talking about the football, not regretting what they've just shouted 5 minutes earlier. Ignore the last 20, 30 minutes of this podcast. Just head to itsonlykidsfootball.com, scroll right down to the bottom of the homepage, pop your email address in there, and bang, you're in. It's free, there's no spam, just practical ideas, honest stories, and a reminder that none of us have this parenting and coaching thing completely figured out. So go over to our website, itsonlykidsfootball.com, scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, enter your details, and you will get the newsletter. We look forward to seeing you signing up and getting more waffle from us. But there are there's some expert advice in there as well. Now, listener shout outs and questions. We're going to race through these. Sorry if we don't give everyone the amount of time that you need to, but we need to crack on. A grassroots coach shares an incident from a high-level youth tournament where emotions boiled over. During a final match played in poor weather and a tense atmosphere, a substitution became chaotic. A young player didn't respond to calls from the sideline due to distance and noise, and the coach, already frustrated from the day, raised his voice in a way he later regretted. The player became upset, coming off, while another coach reassured him. The situation escalated when the player's parent entered the coaching area mid-game and confronted the coach, accusing him of shouting aggressively at a kid. After the match, the coach apologised, directly admitting he lost his temper and the situation seemed resolved. However, follow-up conversations highlighted deeper concerns. The parent felt the communication style was inappropriate, especially given the child has ADHD. They also criticised the disorganised substitution process. Coaches acknowledged the mistakes but noted ongoing behavioural challenges with the player and felt the attempts to address these had been somewhat deflected. Although the parent ultimately accepted the apology and reaffirmed trust in the coach, the incident had a lasting impact, leaving the coach feeling embarrassed and considered stepping away from coaching altogether. You know what it sounds like? It just sounds like a big mess because everyone was literally what we've just described. Everyone's emotional. It's just got a big mess because everyone wants the best for what happens, and you've just made some mistakes. The best thing to do, cool down, shake hands, apologise, learn from it, move on. I don't think me personally, I don't think it's that big a deal. It just happens when everyone gets worked up.
Yep. Listen back to our last Paul Barry episode. It's labelled 3v3, but he talks in there around the right time to have conversations with kids, with parents, and it's rarely ever in the heat of the moment because you are so worked up. So this would be a conversation for after, and like we've just said it in this podcast, like I said the right things to Raf, my son, but just at the wrong time because it was like right after a game. I think if this parent felt all these things, jot them all down, have them firmly in your mind, and call the manager the next day or that evening when things have simmered down a little bit, so it's not highly emotional, but you're still getting your point across if that's how you feel, because it is also appropriate. And I'd want that feedback, right? If we were saying the wrong things to a kid who maybe has ADHD or something else that you need to be more cognizant of, you'd want the feedback. It's actually positive feedback. Feedback doesn't always have to be mega positive. It can be, constructive criticism so that you can improve. So help that coach who's most likely a volunteer. And if you're annoyed, that's fine. You just got to tell them in the right time.
Absolutely. So Dave Hoyland, another coach, reflects on a moment of self-doubt that turned into a powerful reminder of why they coach. After a tough semi-final loss where a less experienced player missed a crucial penalty, there were complaints from a parent suggesting a stronger player should have taken it. The criticism lingered, especially when the family later left the club without direct communication. But weeks later, the team entered another tournament and won it. More importantly, every player contributed. No one was sidelined or treated as just making up the numbers. The team also beat an opponent they'd never beaten before, showing their clear long-term development. Looking back, the coach feels vindicated. Giving all players responsibility builds confidence and growth. Development first, coaching eventually brings results anyway. The real success was every child feeling included and valued. Dave Hoyland, big up yourself. I love that from Davey boy.
Definitely. Absolutely amazing. Love those stories. Keep them coming. If you've got any other stories like that, let us know. We had a message from Scott Forward, who's dealing with a tricky situation. He's got 20 kids signed on, but the move to from 3v3 to 5-a-side, the league now only allows 2 teams instead of 3. That meant cutting 6 players, which obviously isn't ideal. They've got 4 coaches who all want to stay together. The club's asking for more parent volunteers to help create additional teams. It's a tough balance between keeping groups together and making sure every kid gets a place. Yeah,
I mean, that's
tough
tough.
one.
That's kind of a one out of your hands as well, because if the constraints are like this is how many teams you can have or how many players you can have, but that to me is just another reminder of like parents, you need to give whoever's running the team a break, because you have to make those horrible decisions, and just so you can get boys to have a game, it's not easy, and it's easy to like tell the coach what they should be doing or recommend it, but you're not the one who's breaking the news to anyone. So
think of your why. If it's to keep the closest group of kids together for the long haul, you have to factor that into your decision. If it's keeping the kids that are higher level all together so that they can progress, then there'll be so many different factors as to why you're going to split these groups up. But ultimately, it's out of your hands. You have to do it. As long as you can communicate that to the parents and try and create something, an alternative for the kids that do get dropped at a different club, or if another volunteer comes forward, it's the only thing you can do. As long as you can communicate and deal with it in the best way possible, no one should begrudge you for it.
Rob Bell got in touch after listening to the 100th episode. Appreciate that, and he shared his experience with the 3v3 format. He's a big fan. His son's been involved in some carousel friendlies and is loving it. Scored about 40 goals across 2 sessions. But it does highlight the challenge of mixed ability groups, with teammates only managing a few goals between them. Still, enjoyment seems high, which is the key at this thing. We'll find out more about that as we go through the season with 3v3.
Yeah, and Rob, you certainly need to join our webinar on the 26th of July at 8 p.m, where you can answer all of these questions and get the answers you need. And then we had a message from Gavin Lilly, who shared a brilliant grassroots story. His team, who struggled for numbers and had some rough experiences against a particular opposition, ended up beating that team 2-1 in a tournament semi-final. Massive moment, proper emotional scenes, kids in tears of happiness, parents drawn in by the noise. They didn't end up winning the final, but that semi felt like their cup final. Just a great reminder of what it's all about at this level.
Love it. Graham Laverty got in touch about coaching a lower level under 7s team. He's improved results since taking over, but he's finding challenges to manage a big spread of ability in the squad while giving equal game time. He's focusing on fundamentals and small-sided games, and he's looking for insight from others working with similar groups. This is the topic that we cover the most. Go back and listen to the Chris Ramsey episode if you can. There's lots of episodes in there about how you can try to get the best out of mixed ability groups. There is no silver bullet. It's really difficult. It's really challenging and hard. I think you learn over time how to manage it. But again, what is your why? Always come back to your why. And if your why is to create a love and development, a love for the game, develop the players, and to keep a group together, don't worry about the mixed ability. It will iron itself out. You can't control everything. The better players may move on. That's just the way it goes. But ultimately, if you're that first experience of them loving football, then you've done your job.
We had a message from another anonymous listener who asked about appreciation for volunteer coaches. He's put in extra effort across the season, buying gifts and creating personalised items, but has very little thanks from the parents and struggles to get basic help on match days. He's wondering what level of support is reasonable to expect.
Well, I don't know if it depends. Define support. Like if people ain't got the time or the expertise, or they don't feel confident, or they don't, they're juggling whatever they're juggling in their life, then I kind of understand if they can't help there. But I just think a little bit of gratitude and appreciation doesn't cost anything. You don't have to get bought anything. It's just people coming up to you, shaking your hand and saying thanks, and that's all you need. Or a little text message now and again to saying thanks for everything you're doing. That means more to me. I couldn't really care less about anything else. I just think it's nice when people know what you're putting into it and just say thank you for it.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that. But also, if you're a volunteer coach, it's not the glamorous life of being a Premier League manager. So there's going to be lots of downs. There's going to be lots of ups as well. But I'd say you just got to do it for the love of the game and the coaching of the kids, and everything else that can come or might not come is just a byproduct of that. So just have your why firmly in your mind, and if you're not getting the thanks you need, that is potentially what it's just going to be for the rest of your time doing that. So don't do it for the thanks, just do it for the development of the kids.
Sam shared concerns about his 7-year-old who became emotional in high pressure or attention-heavy moments like presentation and matches. His son fully participates and enjoys himself, but often cries and later apologizes. Sam is trying to understand whether it's anxiety, sensitivity, or he's feeling overwhelmed, and how best to support him without him making him feel like his emotions are a problem. So I think I went back to Sam. My two things were, one, ask questions, talk to him at bedtime. That's always my suggestion. I think when you talk to a child at bedtime is when they kind of feel most able to talk. There's no distractions, they're calm, you're in a good setting, and there's quite a good connection there. And the other thing is, what I've realized over time is so much of this is just a phase. You think that every time you judge everything, like if an adult was doing that or adult was behaving like that, you'd feel like it was terminal or it was serious, or like this was but quite often it's just kids have got all these hormones flying around their body. I mean, in a little series we've got coming out of Little Kickers with this expert we've got on, she explains all their stuff. You need to like research it. What is your kid going through? How is their body changing? And I just think these things often are momentary and temporary, and then they move on from them, and it's part of their development. You shouldn't panic too much. You just got to try and support them and be there for them. And don't beat yourself up too much, because, you know, it's normal to worry, and no one bloody tells you how to handle this stuff. And most of the time we get it wrong.
Yeah. And if you're fortunate enough to, speak with a mindset coach or something like that. I know that we've certainly benefited from Matt Baxter, elite mindset coach, but there's lots of others. If you're fortunate enough to have a session with them or a few sessions with them, they do genuinely help, because it's not you explaining it to them, but it has to be a mixture of self-learning as well as potentially some additional expert support. But good luck with that, Sam. Let us know how you get on and keep us in the loop with how your son's progressing. And then the final shout out was from John Baker, who reached out about a potential podcast tournament idea. He's keen on a truly grassroots focused event without academy players or ringers, and thinks there's a strong opportunity to create something fair and development driven. He'd be interested in getting involved, and we'd certainly be interested in having a conversation, John. So I think potentially one that we can start looking into planning for next year. So yeah, watch this space.
We want to hear from you, right? If you want us to put on a tournament, we need to hear from you, and then we will get our partners involved, and we could make the Megatron, the greatest football festival, grassroots football festival in the UK. We want to make it happen, but we need to know that there's a desire for it, that people want it, because we need to get partners involved. So if you want us to run a tournament, we need you to send us a message, whether it's on Instagram, social, so at IOK Football, or you want to email us, it's onlykidsfootballpodcast@gmail.com. That's it's onlykidsfootballpodcast@gmail.com. Send us. Just tell us you want us to create a tournament, and we will take all this to our partners, and we will put on the greatest tournament the grassroots football scene has ever seen.
Jesus, no pressure there, Ben. Getting out.
Listen, if the audience, if you want to make it happen, you've got to message us. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Go to the website, it's onlykidsfootball.com, and you'll be able to message us directly in there.
And finally, listen, the games haven't been happening, but we want to know your grassroots heroes. So we want your nominations for grassroots heroes. Email them to It's Only Kids Football Podcast, or send them to us on @IOK Football. We want your grassroots hero. Who is out there volunteering, working hard, grafting, making football happen for your kid, going out of their way, going above and beyond? They would love a shout out. Show them some appreciation. That's what we were just talking about. It's a little touch, it's a little gesture that will go a long way for all the time and effort they put in. So please send us your nominations for Grassroots Hero. I feel better, mate. I knew this chat would make me feel better. We've had a chat, we've had a conversation about it yesterday. I feel fully sort of exercised the demons, and then I look forward to next week. And I feel like, by the way, the pressure's off a little bit next week, because we're going into a tournament where we're playing the age group above, but not only that, we're playing probably our level of team in the age group above. So it's going to be tough. So I have very little expectation in terms of what I see them doing, because it's going to be a proper challenge. But I'm looking forward to seeing how they're doing, and hopefully I will have learned to manage my emotions in those high pressure jeopardy games that we may or may not reach.
Totally. I totally agree. I can't wait for it. It's just keep the boys want to play. Ultimately, they're getting frustrated that there's no games. So obviously these tournaments really help. The friendlies that we've organised really help. they just want the routine of playing football as well, and so do we. But yeah, thanks, mate. Really appreciate the chat. I think it's helped me as well. And now I'm gonna go karting with the boys. So I'll see you next week.
I'll probably see you tomorrow. But anyway,
yeah, I'll probably talk to you tonight.
Right, so here we go. Another tournament, another absolute kick in the bollocks. Are you sitting there staring blankly at your 10th can of Super Tendons, wondering why? Why does it always come down to one tiny lapse in defence, those pesky fine margins? Look, try to be positive. Did the team play well? Did they have fun? They got to the final. That's massive. Try and hold on to that thought while you're lying face down on the lawn, fully clothed in the pouring rain, questioning your entire life. And then the neighbour pops their head over the fence. All right, mate, what's wrong? And you have to explain you're having a breakdown of a completely meaningless under-9s tournament. But don't panic, you're going to be okay, because you listen to the It's Only Kids Football podcast. We'll get you through it, mainly because we need you to get us through it. Don't pack it all in yet, there's always next week and another chance. So just remember, it's only kids football. If you enjoyed the podcast, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future episodes. And if you want to check out our previous episodes, just click here.